Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Naja Springer-Ali, and I'm a librarian here at the Orchard Ridge campus. On behalf of the OCC Libraries, I welcome you to this year's African American Read-In. Today is a great day for many reasons. One, because this is our first read-in back on a campus since 2020, so we're really excited about that. But another really special thing that's going on today is that we also have a virtual audience as well. So we're pretty stoked about that too. And then we have a really special reader at the end of the read-in that's going to just really send us off with a home run. So we're ecstatic that you're here, whether you're in the audience physically or if you are at home virtually. Welcome, welcome, welcome to King Library. So you might be wondering what a read-in is. This event was created by the Black Caucus of Teachers of English, and the whole goal behind it was to make sure that Black History Month and literacy go together hand in hand as an important part of Black History Month activities. So today you're in for a treat. You are going to hear wonderful poems and inspiring excerpts from readers of books that are authored by African American authors. So to kind of get this started, I'm wondering if you want to hear an example of what a reading will look like. Yeah? Are you ready? All right. So it'll go a little something like this. Okay. My name is Naja Springer-Ali, and I chose the book Chasing Utopia, a Hybrid by Nikki Giovanni. I selected Nikki Giovanni because she's my favorite poet. I also really like her because she grew up in my hometown of Cincinnati. So in her writings, I always like to catch the little glimpses and nods to our hometown. And that's always really fun to do. But I also thoroughly enjoy her work because books and libraries have had a profound impact on who she is as a writer. And so today I chose a poem called I Wish I Could Live in a Book. I wish I could live in a book all wrapped up in my fairy godmother's arms or sitting with my cave mother baking dinosaur eggs. If I lived in a book, I could fly with Alibaba. And even though it's not right to steal, the 40 Thieves are pretty cool. Maybe there would be a book about me. One day, just a little girl being brave in a world where water is in short supply, but everybody has a gun. I don't think that's a good idea. I'd rather be in a book, making biscuits on the frontier, running with the wind, following very lightly on the laughter of the prairie dogs. That would be so nice. I think, living in a book by Nikki Giovanni. All right, so just a few housekeeping rules. This is a very casual event, so you're welcome to stay for its entirety or come and go as your schedule allows. This is also the one time of year where you can actually be loud in the library, so please project your voice if you are an in-person reader. And with that, I am proud to present our first reader, Dr. Kimberly Hearns.
Hello, everybody. I am going to read an excerpt from The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. And this specific excerpt is from a writing, which is a letter to his nephew. And my papers are, it's my papers. And the name of this letter is My Dungeon Shook, Letter to My Nephew on the 100th anniversary of the Emancipation. And James Baldwin is special to me because as a young person, he was introduced to me by a middle school teacher, and I found him to be very challenging to read at the time, and always stuck with me because I thought he was such a provocative and a beautiful writer. Later on in life, I read a book by Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me, and he wrote a letter to his son, and he gave homage to James Baldwin and the letter that he wrote to his nephew is why he wrote that book. And so I came back to James Baldwin, and this has become one of my favorite essays of his. All righty. Well, you were born. Here you came, something like 15 years ago. And though your father and mother and grandmother looking about the streets through which they were carrying you, staring at the walls into which they brought you, had every reason to be heavy-hearted, yet they were not. For here you were, Big James, named for me. You were a big baby. I was not. Here you were to be loved. To be loved, baby, to be loved hard and once and forever, to strengthen you against the loveless world. Remember that I know how Black it looks today. For you, it looked bad that day too. Yes, we were trembling. We have not stopped trembling yet. But if we had not loved each other, none of us would have survived. And now you must survive because we love you and for the sake of your children and your children's children. This innocent country set you down in a ghetto in which, in fact, it intended that you should perish. Let me spell out precisely what I mean by that, for the heart of the matter is here and the root of my dispute with my country. You were born where you were born and face the future that you face because you were Black and for no other reason. The limits of your ambition were thus expected to be set forever. You were born into a society which spelled out with brutal clarity and in as many ways as possible that you were a worthless human being. You were not expected to aspire to excellence. You were expected to make peace with mediocrity. Where you have turned, James, in your short time on this earth, you have been told where you could go and what you could do and how you could do it and where you could live and whom you could marry. I know your countrymen do not agree. They don't agree with me, and I hear them saying, you exaggerate. They do not know Harlem, and I do. So do you. Take no one's word for anything, including mine, but trust your experience. Know whence you came. If you know whence you came, there's really no limit to where you can go. The details and symbols of your life have been deliberately constructed to make you believe what white people say about you. Please try to remember that what they believe, as well as what they do and cause you to endure, does not testify to your inferiority, but to their inhumanity and fear.
What a powerful reading. Thank you so much, Dr. Burns. We appreciate that. Our next group of readers consists of a fabulous OCC library employee, an OCC student who's awesome and terrific, and a group of wonderful Oakland Early College students. Settle in and enjoy.
Hi everyone, my name is Maggie Borowski. I'm a Learning Resources Technician at the OCC Southfield Campus Library, and today I'm here to read an excerpt from this book, Freedom Over Me, 11 Slaves, Their Lives and Dreams Brought to Life by Ashley Bryant. Ashley Bryant was an African-American writer and illustrator of children's books. He died in 2022, and I had the privilege of meeting him a few years ago at Oakland University. One such slave that is from a real document that Ashley Bryant found was Movina. I chose her because she's the same age as I am. Movina. I'm not as strong as I once was, but my singing voice is as strong as ever. Still, I work in the fields, picking cotton, planting vegetables. On my own, I take special care of Peggy's roots and herbs garden. Singing gives me strength for the daily work. My voice accompanies me always. When I am digging in the garden, I sing, I sing. Bending over, seeding the furrows, weeding the plants, I sing, I sing. When Cush and I are together, we create songs that others love. We start the song, others chant in chorus. The African American song patterns live in us. We sing out, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." We can't hold back the joy of these words. We sing them over and over, till everyone in the fields is singing with us, having made these words their own. When Cush and I hear the others singing our songs, we feel we've helped them endure the burden of slavery. Songs make us never lose hope. We'll be free one day. Free!
Hello, my name is Carson Christopher Bates. My name is Austin Michael Jones.
My name is Sarah Walls.
My name is Anne Frank, and we are all students at Oakland Community College.
This poem means a lot to us because it shows that as a community, even through all the hatefulness and the turmoil, that we still rise above it.
Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I rise.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room?
Just like the moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like oaks springing high, still I rise.
Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulder falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries?
Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't take it awful hard, cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard.
You shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I'll rise.
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs?
Out of the husk of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide. Welling and swelling, I bear in the tide.
Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hopes of the slave.
I rise, I rise, I rise.
Hello, my name is Maurice Jones, and I'm a student at OCC. I am the author of this book, What Can I Be? I Can Be Anything. And I wrote this book to inspire young children. Today, I'm going to read a couple of excerpts of my book to you. I hope you enjoy. I can be an ophthalmologist so that I can help people have clear vision. I can be a poet so that I can share beautiful thoughts. I can be a quarterback so I can lead my team to victory. I can be a reporter so that I can report good news. I can be a scientist so that I can study chemistry, physics, and biology. I can be a teacher so that I can give you knowledge to be a future leader. I can be a urologist so that I can diagnose and treat diseases. I can be a violinist so that I can make soothing sounds. I can be a writer so that I can share positive experiences. I can be an X-ray technician so that I can see inside of you to help you. Or I can be a yoga instructor so that I can help keep you in shape, or a zoologist so that I can help animals. I hope that I encourage the listeners to reach their goals and fulfill their dreams by reading this to you. Be inspired and keep believing.
Now, whether you're here or at home, I'm sure we can all agree that those readings were very inspiring. Yeah, let's give another round. And I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge one of the readers that was featured in one of the videos, Mr. Maurice Jones, who's an OCC student who wrote that wonderful children's book. If you don't mind just standing up so we can say hello and thank you. All right, so now we're at a point in time where we have room for volunteers. Any takers? Let's give it up for Miss Rashida Roberts.
All right, so as Nadia said, my name is Rashida Wright and I'm a counselor at the college. And one of the books that I want to read from is a licensed therapist. She happens to be from Detroit. Her name is Nedra Glover Tawab. And the book is about family dynamics and understanding how to operate when family dynamics may be unhealthy and how you manage through those things. So it's kind of like a guide. It provides tools and tips on how to manage. So she has 3 parts in this book. The first part is related to unlearning dysfunction. The second part is about healing. And the third part is about growth. And so I'm going to read from the healing section. Okay. So it says, be your own best teacher. First, look within to understand what isn't working in your family's dynamics. Trust that you know when something doesn't feel right and when it isn't for you. There's no need to wait for validation from others. The most important question you need to answer is, what do you want for your life? Bear in mind that what you might want may not currently exist in your family. So you may be the first person in your family to make healthy relationship choices. You may be the first person in your family to make your own decisions, set boundaries, hold people accountable, not attend college or to attend college, practice a different religion, not practice a religion at all, challenge the status quo, not get married or to get married, be openly LGBTQIA+, go to therapy, address your trauma. She also goes on to say, preventing dysfunction when you see similar characteristics in yourself. So she's giving these tips. When you grow in a dysfunctional family, it can be hard to know what is and isn't dysfunctional. Don't blame yourself for not knowing better. Instead, strive to become more aware. Awareness allows you to see what you need to change. You might find yourself emulating the behaviors of people you don't want to emulate, which can lead you to change because it's easy to see exactly what you want to work on. But awareness alone will not change you. Only action will do that. Changing who you are as a result of your environment looks like, and she gives a few tips, acknowledging the things you want to change. So you may find it helpful to make a list of patterns or issues in your family that you'd like to change within yourself. After looking at that list, contemplate how the issues currently affect you and how you exhibit some of the same behaviors you don't like in others. Owning your issues and not blaming yourself. In the past, you didn't know what you didn't know. Now that you're becoming aware, take ownership of the opportunity to change. Indeed, your family impacted you. But if you aren't making changes, you're choosing to perpetuate the status quo. You're refusing to change what you can. It's no longer them, it's you. So a few more tips. If your childhood was unhealthy as an adult, you can create a family of loving and supportive people like friends and neighbors and elders. You can set boundaries around how you allow people to show up in your life. You can choose which relationships from your family of origin are worth maintaining. You can find role models outside your family and learn from them. Establish new traditions like holiday traditions. Take, use, and parts of your childhood that were healthy and learn from them and discard the rest. Find community among people who are also healing because you are not alone. Next,
Thank you so much, Rashida, for that nourishing and healing reading. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit because a read-in would not be a read-in without a sprinkle of the performing arts. So this next group is pretty fantastic. And after this group is finished reading, we get to meet my colleague, Beth Garnsey. So to kick things off, I would first like to invite Elizabeth Green up as she shares a selection about a special contributor to the world of opera. Elizabeth?
Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Green, and I am the college's records manager and archivist. And today I'll be reading from And Not Afraid to Dare, the stories of 10 African-American women by Tanya Bolton. I chose this excerpt because opera is very near and dear to my heart, and in celebration of the achievements of African American vocalists. Oh, and this is about Leontine Price. Sorry. Who's on the cover here? So Leontine Price debuted with the Metropolitan Opera on January 27th, 1961. A milestone in African American history. It was an especially momentous event because of this production of Verdi's Il Trovatore was the Met's first opera of the season, and in it, Price played the lead role of Leonora, one of the Queen of Spain's ladies in waiting, who is loved by a count, but whose heart belongs to his long-lost brother. Price made history again when at the close of the show, the audience applauded for 42 minutes, a Met record. Price said, "It was my first real victory, my first unqualified acceptance as an American, as a human being, as a Black, as an artist, the whole thing. From Mississippi to the Met, that's the pinnacle. The 42-minute ovation was like having climbed the mountain." Price made history again in 1966 when she starred in the world premiere of Samuel Barber's Antony and Cleopatra. This opera was the opener for the Met's new home at Lincoln Center, which would be the biggest opera house in the world. Antony and Cleopatra have been composed expressly for this occasion, and the role of Cleopatra was tailored expressly for Leontine Price. Her prominence throughout her career inspired and opened up opportunities for Kathleen Battle and many other African-American opera singers. Aware of her significance, Price said, "I was the first Black diva that was going to hang on. My being prepared is the reason I didn't go away. That is really the substance of my pioneering. Marian Anderson had opened the door. I kept it from closing again." Leontine chose to end her career on a high note, and on January 3rd, 1985, during the PBS TV broadcast of Live from the Met, Leontine Price said farewell. And she did it as Aida, her renowned role. While the audience applauded her sterling rendition of the opera's most famous aria, O Patria Mia, O My Country, Price fought back the tears. One critic wrote some months later in Opera News, "Perhaps the opera event of 1985 was the stage farewell of Leontine Price, who bid adieu as with Aida. On the stage of the Met Opera, a fitting platform for the Mississippi-born soprano, who over the decades have become the American prima donna personified. No natural-born singer of her era has been so honored as Leontine Price, and few singers of any nationality have captured the hearts of their public as she has over the years."
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for reading aloud today. In the 50s, so the 1950s, that is, there was an African-American actor who set the film world on fire. I'm delighted to invite Mr. Melvin Chapman as our next reader so we can learn more about who this individual was.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melvin Chapman. I'm a member of the psychology faculty in the social science department here at OCC's Orchard Ridge campus. And I've decided to read an excerpt, a little part of a chapter from a book written by famed actor Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier was the first African-American actor to win a lead, an Oscar or an Academy Award for Best Lead Actor in a movie. And I was just kind of fascinated by his life. A man who walked with the common person and with kings, spent the early part of his life on a very small island in the Bahamas. No paved roads, no running water, no telephone, no electricity. Moving to Nassau at the age of 10 and then to the United States at the age of 15. But when he moved to the United States, it was without his parents. He was sent off, into the world to find his opportunity and did quite well. The name of this chapter that I'll read just the first couple of pages of is called "Why Do White Folks Love Sidney Poitier?" 1968 was a time of incredible conflict and contrast. It was the year when both Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy were assassinated. The year Lyndon Johnson succumbed to the cultural clashes over Vietnam and gave up the presidency. The year of the police riot at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. But for me personally, it was also a year of tremendous professional satisfaction. I had the #1 box office success, as well as numbers 2 and 3. To Serve with Love with Lulu and Judy Eason, In the Heat of the Night with Rod Steiger and Lee Grant, and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. And I think we did work that has more than stood the test of time. Yet, given the quickly changing social currents, there was more than a little dissatisfaction rising up against me in certain corners of the Black community. A cultural wave that would crest a few years later when the New York Times published an article titled, "Why Do White Folks Love Sidney Poitier So?" The issue boiled down to why I wasn't more angry and confrontational. New voices were speaking for African Americans and in new ways. Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, the Black Panthers. According to a certain taste that was coming into ascendancy at the time, I was an Uncle Tom. Even a house Negro. For playing roles that were non-threatening to white audiences. For playing the noble Negro, who fulfills white liberal fantasies. In essence, I was being taken to task for playing exemplary human beings. The young engineer turned school teacher in To Serve with Love, the Philadelphia homicide detective far from home and in the heat of the night, and the young doctor who comes supporting the daughter of Tracy and Hepburn and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Now, admittedly, the young teacher I portrayed was the epitome of virtue, elegant and well-spoken, intelligent and kind. He was also courageous and steadfast as he stood up to abuse and maintained his commitment to the students under his charge. Police Detective Tibbs, likewise, was a man of great courage and intelligence, as well as admirable restraint. And the young doctor in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, aside from being a charming suitor, an exceedingly courteous guest, and a paragon of a son, had academic credentials a mile long, and spent his time saving mankind for the World Health Organization. So the question was being asked, what's the message here? That Black people will be accepted by white society only when they're twice as white as the most accomplished Ivy League medical graduate? That Blacks must pretend to be something they aren't? Or simply that Black society does, of course, contain individuals of refinement, education, and accomplishment, and that white society, of course, should wake up to that reality. The heated tempers of the time have long since cooled and ideological fashions have come and gone. But the fact remains that in the late 60s, civil disobedience gave way to more radical approaches. The angry payback of the Black exploitation film was just around the corner, and my career as a leading man in Hollywood is nearing its end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melvin. Acting is believing. And this next reading by one of our theater students will bring a main character of playwright August Wilson's to life.
Hello, my name is Kaylin Rogers. My major at OCC is an Associates in Arts with a focus in theater. The book I'll be reading today is August Wilson's 3 plays, and the play I'll be reading specifically is Fences. The reason why I chose Fences is because it's one of his most popular plays, well known for the struggles of a Black man in America. This particular scene is where he's having fun. So don't you worry about me drinking myself to death, because I ain't worried about death. I done seen him. I done wrestled with him. Look here, Bono, I looked up one day and death was marching straight at me. Like soldiers on parade, the army of death was marching straight at me in the middle of July 1941. It got real cold, just like it be in the winter. It seemed like death himself reached out and touched me on the shoulder. He done touched me just like I touched you. I got cold as ice and death standing there grinning at me. I said, "What you want, Mr. Death? You be wanting me? You done brought your army to be getting me." I looked him dead in the eye. I wasn't fearing nothing. I was ready to tangle just like I'm ready to tangle right now. The Bible say be ever vigilant. That's why I don't be but so drunk. I got to keep watch. Death standing there at me, carrying that sickle in his hand, finally say, "You won't be bound over for another year." See, just like that, you won't be bound over for another year. I told him, "Bound over hell, let's settle this now." It seemed like he kind of fell back when I said that. Oh, the cold went out of me, and I reached down and I grabbed that sickle, and the cold, ooh, I threw it as far as about as I could throw it, and me and him commenced to wrestling. We wrestled for 3 days and 3 nights, and I can't say where I found the strength from. Every time it seemed like he was going to get the best of me, I just reached down deep inside myself and found the strength to do him one better. I ain't making up nothing. I'm telling you the facts of what happened. I wrestled with death for 3 days and 3 nights, and I'm standing here to tell you about it, all right? At the end of the 3rd night, we done weakened each other to where we can't hardly move. Death stood up, threw his on his robe. He had the white robe with the white hood, you know. He threw it on, grabbed his sickle, he said, I'll be back. Just like that, I'll be back. I told him, say, yeah, but you're going to have to find me. I wasn't no fool. I wasn't going looking for him. Death ain't nothing to play with. And I know he's going to get me. I know I got to join his army, his camp followers. But as long as I keep my strength and see him coming, as long as I keep my vigilance, he's going to have to get me by fighting me. I ain't going easy.
That's a hard act to follow. If I haven't met you yet, I'm Beth Garnsey. I'm the librarian at the Highland Lakes campus. And I don't know about you, but I'm really enjoying this high flex version. It's probably really cool, isn't it, to go between videos? And so glad that everyone is here in person. I think everyone will agree. We've heard some readings and listened to the words of some wonderful African-American authors. And I bet you're thinking, where could I find more works by African-American authors? Well, you're in luck, because if you're here in person or if you're joining us online, you have access to the library website where you can search for resources across all the OCC campus libraries. And as we move along, we are also want to let you know that we are highlighting our Black History research guide, Black History Month research guide. So lots of great resources there that highlight the accomplishments of African Americans. And there's ebooks, print books, videos. You want it, we've got it. So please check it out when you can. And of course, if you want help finding resources, you can always contact your OCC campus librarians. Contact us in person, contact us online, whatever way you'd like to connect. We'd love to connect with you. Okay, and now we are ready for another group of videos. We have a reading from an OCC employee, Sandra Foster-Harold, and another group of OCC students. So enjoy.
Hello, I'm Sandra Harold Foster. I'm a buyer in the Purchasing and Auxiliary Services Department at OCC. The book that I will be reading from today is entitled And Still I Rise, written by Dr. Maya Angelou. I really enjoy her poetry. She writes with such a rich heritage, describing different circumstances and things that she's endured in her life. And I really enjoy mostly the pride of what she's been through, how she's come through it. She writes with pride when she talks about it. So here's an example of that. And the title of this piece is called Ain't That Bad. Dancing the funky chicken, eating ribs and tips, digging all the latest sounds and drinking gin in sips, putting down that do-rag, tightening up my fro, wrapping up in blackness, don't I shine and glow? Hearing Stevie Wonder, cooking beans and rice, going to the opera, checking out Leontine Price. Get down, Jesse Jackson. Dance on, Alvin Ailey. Talk, Miss Barbara Jordan. Groove, Miss Pearl Bailey. Now ain't they bad, and ain't they black? And ain't they black, and ain't they bad? And ain't they bad, and ain't they black? And ain't they fine? Black like the hour of the night, when your love turns and wiggles close to your side. Black as the earth which has given birth to nations, and when all else is gone will abide. Bad as the storm that leaps raging from the heavens, bringing the welcome rain. Bad as the sun burning orange hot at midday, lifting the waters again. Arthur Ashe on the tennis court, Muhammad Ali in the ring, Andre Watts and Andrew Young, black men doing their thing, dressing in purples and pinks and greens, exotic as rum and cokes, living our lives with flash and style. Ain't we colorful folks? Now ain't we bad, and ain't we black? And ain't we black, and ain't we bad? And ain't we bad, and ain't we black? And ain't we fine?
The Proudest Blue by Ibtihaj Muhammad. This book illustrates the challenges young girls or young hijabi girls deal with in a culture where there is a diverse culture.
The Proudest Blue by Ibtihaj Muhammad.
Mama holds out the pink. Mama loves pink. But Asya shakes her head. I know why. Behind the corner is a brightest blue, the color of the ocean. If you squint your eyes and pretend there's no line between the water and the sky. It's the first day hijab. Asya knows it. I know it. We're sisters.
The next day, I wait. A new backpack, new light-up shoes. I feel special. I feel like twirling. Asya comes out of the house, and I stop. It's the most beautiful first day of school ever. I'm walking with a princess, so I pretend I'm one too. But even princesses have to stop to cross the street. Asya takes my hand in hers, says, "Come on, Faiza." We speed walk it. 14 steps, 14 light-ups to get across. Asya takes me to my line first, hugs me goodbye. I turn to watch her leave, give a little curtsy to the princess going to 6th grade area. She's easy to see. Her hijab smiles at me the whole way. My first day hijab is going to be blue too.
What's that on your sister's head? The girl in front of me whispers. A scarf, I whisper back. I don't know why a whisper came out. I try again, louder now. A scarf, hijab. Oh, she whispers.
Asya's hijab isn't a whisper. Asya's hijab is like the sky on a sunny day. The sky isn't a whisper. It's always there, special and regular. The first day of wearing hijab is important, Mama had said. It means being strong. I turn, but I can't see the blue anymore. I run to the big kids' side. 27 steps to see Asya. I need to give her another hug. I need to see her smile. Faiza, Asya's eyes wonder why I'm here. Are you excited, I ask, about the first day of hijab? She nods, smiling big, and I feel better.
Someone laughs from nearby, a boy, pointing at Asya. Why?
Asya's hijab isn't a laugh. Asya's hijab is like the ocean waving to the sky. It's always there, strong and friendly. Some people won't understand your hijab, Mom had said, but if you understand who you are, one day they will too. In class, I draw a picture. 2 princesses in hijab having a picnic on an island, where the ocean meets the sky. The girl who whispered in line says she likes it. She says it so loud. The teacher comes over to see it. I wonder if Asya drew a picture too.
Recess time is for 5 cartwheels in a row. I land the last one, near the 6th graders, near Asya and her friends, near a boy yelling, "I'm going to pull that tablecloth off your head."
Asya's hijab isn't a tablecloth. Asya's hijab is blue, only blue. Asya turns away. Her friends turn away. They race to the middle of the schoolyard, their shoes pounding the pavement, playing tag. Mama, don't carry around the hurtful words that others say. Drop them. They are not yours to keep. They belong only to those who said them. It takes me 48 steps to get away from the yelling boy.
After school, I look around. I look for whispers, laughs, and shouts. But I only see Asya waiting for me like it's a regular day. She's smiling strong.
We cross the street, the road, hand in hand. I can't wait to get home, to show Mama the picture I drew, to show Asya that I'm wearing the same hijab in it. Because Asya's hijab is like the ocean and the sky, no line between them, saying hello with a loud wave, saying I'll always be here, like sisters, like me and Asya.
You know what I love about this event is that we get to visit our traditional authors, Maya Angelou and Still I Rise, and then learn about new works like that last book we just heard, Proudest Blue. So now we're going to go back to our in-person readers, and I'm proud to introduce my colleague, Loretta Hunter, here from the Orchard Ridge Campus Library.
Hi everyone, my name is Loretta Hunter, librarian here at the Orchard Ridge campus, and today I'm going to talk about Daniel Black, who's one of my favorite authors. He's written at least 10 novels, and they all are historical fiction one way or the other. I was given an opportunity to meet him several years ago when he came to Detroit to promote his book, Perfect Peace. So if you're looking for some really good historical fiction or just something to take your mind away, pick up a book by Daniel Black. He is an awesome writer. Dr. Black is currently a professor of African American Studies and English at Morehouse College and Clark Atlanta University. So again, They Tell Me of a Home by Daniel Black. The bus disappeared into the heat wave. I glanced at my watch and murmured, 2:16. As the blistering sun welcomed my spirit home. It was hotter than any day I could remember. The whirlwind of dust, which the bus left behind, consumed me in a ball of humidity, making breathing practically impossible. It was a kind of heat that pastes close skin during the day and disallows a cool breeze at night. A nice cool shower would have been divine, but it never helped much in Swamp Creek, since after a moment or two, the sweat returned, and even in the shade. I dropped both my bags with my hands, shielded with my eyes from the sun. Everything looked the same. The meeting tree stood broader, like a great elder that watched over a flock of children. We called it the meeting tree because that's where folks gathered, socialize, and even gossip. Every Friday, people came to listen to the elders or watch people dance and sing. As children, my friends and I caught lightning bugs in the fields next to the tree as the grown folks told their stories. Sometimes we listened too, but always from a distance. Children did not sit with elders back in those days. My memories made me feel as though home was an ancient place. I arrived back in Swamp Creek after 10 years. I thought I would never return and see it again. The day after high school graduation, I left Arkansas, promising never to return. People bred hatred in me as a child concerning everything about Swamp Creek. Daddy worked me to death, and said, that's life around here. So I had to leave. Hay fields, pea patches, cotton picking, I had enough, and I never wanted to be at this place. 10 years, and there I was again. I had received my PhD in Black Studies a month earlier, and I felt compelled to return to the place of my origin. Exactly what I did not know, but for some reason, I felt that I needed to go home. My heart or my head had begun to twist and beg for familiar clarity in a place that lasts several years, and maybe, I hope, Swamp Creek could help. Or maybe I could dream of returning and finding a picturesque family into which I could love safely, whatever the reason. I had a feeling that I stood in front of that old tree as it was home and going to be anything but sweet. They tell me it's my fault.
Thank you, Loretta. Again, another new author I didn't know about, so now I've got more to read. What a problem to have. Now I'd like to introduce or welcome to this stage Rebecca Weiland from Oakland Community College. You.
Hello, I am Rebecca Wheeland. I am an OEC teacher, and you saw some of our students up there before. I really love children's books because they're a really wonderful way to inspire kids, a younger generation. So I brought Cleo Wade's What the Roots. And she's an author, activist, writer, and artist. Have you ever wanted to go in a different direction? Have you ever wondered if there was something more, something out there, something just different? I did too. Then one day I was walking my usual way home when out of nowhere, for no reason at all, almost as if it were magic, a road appeared. I could not believe my eyes. So I walked over to it and I said to the road, where do you lead? The road said, be a leader and find out. How do I start? I asked. The road smiled and said, you have already started. Well, what happens when I get there? We have just begun, said the road. Do not skip straight to the ending. Enjoy the beginning and the middle too. Which way do I go? That is your choice to make, said the road. But what if I go the wrong way? The road curved a little, almost as if it was giving me a hug, and said, do not worry. Sometimes we go the wrong way on our way to the right way. What if I get scared? That is okay. You are brave, said the road. Well, what does it mean to be brave? I asked. The road guided me through a very gloomy forest. Even though I was frightened, I trusted the road, and I took one step and then another step after that. And the road gently whispered, being brave is when you were afraid of doing something, but you do it anyway. Do not let what scares you keep you from continuing on your path. Will I always move forward? Not always, said the road. Why not? Because sometimes you will stumble backward and sometimes you will stand still. What if I fall? Everyone falls at some point, said the road, but I will always be there when you land. What if I get lost? There may be some days that feel long and dark, said the road, but I promise you that no matter what, I will give you the evening stars and morning sun to light your way. What if I grow weary or get hurt? I will give you trees of all shapes and sizes to shelter you when you need rest and heal, said the road. What if I get lonely? You are never alone, said the road. What if I change? Come with me, said the road. And as I moved forward, the road introduced me to a caterpillar and a family of seeds. We did not stay long. The road began taking me on a journey through the seasons. I watched summer turn to fall and fall turn to winter, and as spring was upon us, I realized we had gone in one big, beautiful circle. I looked down and found that I was standing in front of the caterpillar and the seeds once more. Only the caterpillar was no longer a caterpillar, and the seeds had turned to flowers of every color swaying in the sun. The road then braced me up and said, all things grow and change. This is the magic of being alive. You too will find your wings. You too will bloom. No living thing is meant to stay the same. What if I need help on my journey? Ask your fellow travelers along the way. What if they are mean to me? Lead them to kindness, said the road. How? By being kind. What if they want to fight? Lead them to peace, said the road. But how do I lead them to peace? By listening to their stories, telling them yours, and reminding them that you are all on this journey together. What if the world around us is filled with hate? Lead it to love. How? By sharing the power of your love with it. What if something unexpected happens? Keep going. What if there are mountains that feel too tall to climb? What if there are rivers that feel too wide to cross? What if I get my heart broken? What if I feel stuck? What if giving up is easier? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, said the road. What if I can't do it? You can, said the road, because you have come. Oh, how do you know? Because you've come this far, said the road. I said to the road, where do you lead? The road said, be a leader and find out.
Thank you. And now I'd like to just keep on at the stage, but I guess it's really X marks the spot. Our Dean of Academic Support Services, Bethany Kennedy, and just I'm intrigued by the title of your book. So.
As Beth said, my name is Bethany Kennedy. I'm the Dean of Academic Support Services here. And the book that I chose is How Long Till Black Future Month. And this is a book of short stories by N.K. Jemisin, who is a speculative fiction author. And she has full-length novels, short stories, novellas. She's my favorite author and I love her so much. She has, reading the reviews on the back, people say that she is, transformative, that she is, breathtakingly imaginative and narratively bold. And I think that in a genre that focuses so much on what could be, she really sees what is. And I think that adds something to her writing that I've not found anywhere else. So I'm going to read the beginning of one of her short stories called Walking Awake. The master who came for Henry was wearing a relatively young body. Sadie guessed it was maybe 50 years old. It was healthy and in good condition, still handsome. It could last 20 years more, easily. Its owner noticed Sadie's stare and chuckled. I never let them get past 50, the master said. You'll understand when you get there. Sadie quickly lowered her gaze. Of course, sir. It turned the body's eyes to examine Henry, who sat very still in his cell. Henry knew. Sadie could see at once. She had never told him. She never told any of the children because she was their caregiver and there was nothing of care in the truth. But Henry had always been more intuitive than most. She cleared her throat. Forgive me, sir, but it's best if we return to the transfer center. He'll have to be prepped. Ah, yes, of course, the master said. Sorry, I just wanted to look him over before my claim was processed. You never know when they're going to screw up the paperwork. It smiled. Sadie nodded and stepped back, gesturing for the master to precede her away from the cell. As they walked to the elevator, they passed two of Sadie's assistant caregivers, who were distributing the day's feed to 14 mail. Sadie caught Caridid's eye and signed for them to go fetch Henry. No ceremony. A ceremony at this point would be cruel. Caridid noticed, twitched elaborately, got control of herself, and nodded. Olivia, who was deaf, did not look up to catch Sadie's signing, but Caridid brushed her arm and repeated it. Olivia's face tightened with annoyance, but then smoothed into a compliant mask. Both women headed for cell 47. The children here all seem nicely fit, the master commented as they stepped into the elevator. I got my last body from Southern, skinny as rails there. Exercise, sir. We provide a training regimen for those children who want it. Most do. We also use a nutrient blend designed to encourage muscle growth. Ah, yes. Do you think the new one will get above 2 meters? He might, sir. I can check the breeder history. No, never mind. I like surprises. It threw a wink over its one shoulder. When it faced forward again, Sadie found her eyes drawn to the crab-like form half buried at the nape of the body's neck. Even as Sadie watched, one of its legs shifted just under the skin, loosening its grip on the tendons there. She averted her eyes. Caridid and Olivia came down shortly. Henry was between the two women, dressed in the ceremonial clothing, a plain, low-necked shirt and pants, both dyed deep red. His eyes locked onto Sadie, despairing, betrayed, before he disappeared through the transfer room doors. Lovely eyes, the master remarked, handing her the completed claims form. Can't wait to wear blue again.
Thanks so much, Bethany. So I mentioned at the beginning of this event that we had a bit of a surprise for you. And I first thought I would give you a little bit of history about this library here. It was established in 1968, and we are named for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we thought, how fitting would it be to have a special reader who's related to him, who was recently at OCC to deliver OCC's NLK convocation. We're so excited to have Dr. Bernice King read an excerpt from her children's book. It starts with me, Pledge to Be Love, and this is co-authored by Dr. Kimberly P. Johnson and illustrated by Zoe Ranucci. And I want to just take a moment to thank the director of our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice office, Christina Marshall, for making the connection and inviting Dr. King to be a part of today's festivities.
We all can be loved if we do the right things, to focus on kindness and the joy that it brings. Learn to speak up. You have a powerful voice. Let courage and happiness be your first choice. I get it. When people are mean, sometimes it's hard to be kind. But you can choose to be loved, and it may change their mind. We may get angry for no reason. We may laugh at others' pain. We may live in constant violence, but someone has got to break that chain. So yes, it will start with me.
Well, the time has come. This is it. Thank you so much for being a part of our audience today. And if you're at home, thank you so much for participating virtually. If you have any questions and if you want some suggestions for great reads during Black History Month, don't forget, just ask your OCC librarians. Thank you for coming.